50% of your GPA is decided before you even go to class. Choosing the wrong professor can tank your grade. Choosing the wrong class layout and format can tank your grade. I should know, it happened to me. I'm here to show you guys the tips that I figured out in order to keep my GPA the highest, have more time during the week, and to have kind of a teaching style that worked best for me. So I'm here to give you guys all of that, so stay tuned. Medical schools look at two things, GPA related. They look at your science GPA and your overall GPA. Your classes are only going to get harder and your science courses are tough. So what I recommend doing is for that overall GPA, those other classes can help kind of cushion or pad your stats, so to speak. They can keep your GPA higher and make sure that you're getting a really competitive GPA for your applications. However, if you guys don't use these tips I'm about to tell you, that cushioning or those pads, those other classes that aren't science related can actually impact your overall GPA and kind of hurt your chances of getting in. So I'm here to give you a couple tips that would be useful for both science and non-science classes to keep your GPA the highest and keep you relaxing in undergrad. Before you use these tips, you should have your prereq sheet and all your classes kind of figured out and planned out. I actually made a video about how to plan out your entire pre-med schedule. I have this template that you guys can use, and you can basically plan your class starting from your first day in undergrad all the way to when you're walking out. It'll save you a lot of stress and kind of help you with this strategy and just make it less to think about. Once you know kind of what classes you're taking, you'll know exactly what to register for every semester or quarter if you have a school like that. But there are a couple things you need to really pay attention to when you're at that registering tab, when you're doing the registration for your classes. The first is you need to see kind of how many times a week they're teaching the class and where, and you also need to know who is teaching the class, what professor is teaching it, and how they teach. Most people, when they choose wrong, they'll get swamped with classes. They'll be on campus forever, and they'll be having homework once they leave. And it can really tank your extracurriculars, so have less time for yourself and for building your resume. I know it's kind of weird to say, hey, do online classes while you're paying to attend a college, but what I'm saying is online classes can actually be your best friend. And why I'm saying this is, please, don't do online classes for a really, really hard topic, because it's really important to get to know the professor, ask questions, get to know the other med students, and it's really important for your social life. But I would say look for a lot of online options for maybe a medium class or an easy class, and do them online so that you don't have to be on campus as often, and you can cut down how often you need to go and how often you're required to be on campus. That way you have a way more flexible schedule to go out and do things. Maybe you do it for the beginning, or you do 1 or 2 days of really difficult and like heavy course on-campus days. The rest you can just do them at home and do homework. Go travel somewhere, do your homework at Starbucks or Panera, or go back home, or do it wherever. So it gives you a lot more flexibility if you start looking at the online options, but not doing them for your hardest classes, just like the medium to small. The reason why I'm pushing you guys towards registering and getting online classes and getting all this figured out is because I actually made a mistake my second year. I waited too long for registration. So that's one more tip for you guys. As soon as registration's out, you're using that outline you made and you're registering for those classes with the plan that you have. Because when I was a second year, I made that mistake and I waited too long, and I had all my classes at the weirdest times. All of them were on campus. And so I ended up for 3 months having to be on campus every day, all day. It really wore on me, and it kind of took away my mental health, and it made me do poorly in those classes. It actually tanked my GPA a little bit because I wasn't able to pick the professors. I wasn't able to pick the times. I was just running around like a chicken with its head cut off, just trying to get to all the classes that I needed to go to. So yeah, please don't be like me and follow these tips, because your life will be 10 times easier. Okay, great. You made it to registration early. You got in, you made that 6 schedule, but now you're seeing a list of multiple professors. Do not, I repeat, do not click on a random professor and just take the class. Because if you do that, you're just picking a teacher with the style that you don't understand, and it may or may not be good. It's like the lottery. You may get a great professor, you may get a horrible professor. So what I would recommend doing is, this actually helped me so much, is to use this website called RateMyProfessor. Not every school that I'm familiar with uses it, but it's pretty widespread, and it really, like, it was a game changer. So RateMyProfessor, it is a free website where students, after taking a class, will go on there and they'll write reviews. So what they'll write about is what grade they got in that class. If you're seeing a bunch of A's, you should probably get that professor, because that's what you want to boost your GPA. If you can see their teaching style. So some classes they'll say, oh yeah, this class was super textbook and test heavy. But you'll go to other classes, you say, this one was really homework and project heavy. I'll be completely honest, I lean towards the project and homework heavy for one reason. That helps pad your GPA and your stats. Your whole class is broken down into percentages. So if you have projects and homework being 40% and tests 60, if you get 100% on your homework and projects, then you can do worse on your tests and still have an amazing grade. And that actually happened in OChem. This whole system helped me so much, because I did super well on the homework, super well on my projects, and I did well on the test, but there was one test in particular that I bombed. But it actually kept my grade at like an A, and I actually got through it. While my friends, they just picked a random professor, and they're 10 times smarter than me still. Like, they're doing amazing things, but they got a B in that class because it was extremely test heavy, and the way that the professor taught was not to their learning style. So dude, RateMyProfessor is awesome, because you can see what people's grades were, you can see how the professor teaches, you can see kind of the breakdown of the scoring patterns before you even get into class. So now you can prep in advance, you can figure out everything with just one website. And there are a bunch more, but some of them are subscription based. This is just free, this is a resource you can use now. You don't need any payments, you don't need any subscriptions. You just go on there and you look up your school, look up the professors that you see on those sheets, and you're done. So yeah, just to summarize, you need to make sure your schedule is 100% golden. And you also need to make sure the professor is golden, because those two elements can really impact your mental health and your grades down the line. And this can save you a lot of time. But thank you guys so much for watching. Send this to a pre-med, send this to any of your friends who are registering for classes. This is a game changer. I didn't know about this till later on, and so knowing about this now would be golden. Comment any questions you guys have, and yeah, feel free to reach out through the YouTube. I'm here for you guys. I'm just here to make it easier. So yeah, also feel free to subscribe. Help me get the word out. The YouTube algorithm is not being super kind to me. It's not getting my videos out, so please help it to get to the pre-meds that need it, and thank you.